Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Today's video is going to be titled Growing Up as an Average Guy Interacting with Women in the Modern Times. And yours truly is going to be that average guy. I was going to just make it about this generic average Joe going through life and like how life treats him as well as how women treat him, but I thought I'm pretty much the average guy. I've had the average experience, a little bit of success here and there, but overall, not the best experience. But so I thought, why not just tell my story of growing up, going to school, going to TAFEs, which is if you're American, it's similar to your like college, community college system. I never went to university or anything like that. I just actually got quite a few technical certificates, but no university certificates. So of course that straight away, puts me in the no category for most modern women because I'm not a learned gentleman. But it's not what I really want to talk about at the moment. Pardon me. So I'm going to make a little bit of a series here talking about you know life as the average guy, and then another video, life as a Chad. Not that I really know what that's like, but I've witnessed it a lot. So I'm going to give you my opinion on what winning the genetic lottery is like, and also give you the life path of the average typical inkwell, sub 5 inkwell. So I pretty much start, you know, around about the puberty age. I had a pretty fairly normal childhood. You know, back then in like the 80s growing up, it's a bit different to now. We actually, ride push bikes and walked everywhere. It'd be nothing for us to walk 40 minutes to a friend's house in a local town and walk 40 minutes back, feeling safe, not having to, you know, worry about crime or getting, any harm coming to us. Electronics wise, we had Super Nintendo, Sega Mega Drive, Sega Genesis, Master System, Atari, things like that. So quite often I'd just go to friends' houses, play that stuff. And of course, not really interested in the ladies back then. The first time I actually pretty much, I guess, realised I was a straight man, I would have been probably about 11 going on 12 in year 5, and this girl changed schools or something, came into the class, and I just seen her walk in and sit down, and I just thought, this lady, this girl's an angel. She's so beautiful. She must be an angel. Just everything about her was just just attractive. I guess hard to explain. I mean, in reality, I mean, have seen her grow up and age. She's probably maybe about a 6 tops, but but you know that was like the first time I realised. I didn't really say them words. Oh, geez, I'm a straight white male or whatever. I just realised, oh yeah, I like girls. Didn't really do anything about it. Just kind of admired her in class every now and again, and then move on. Say 1 or 2 years, we got high school. Now this is where you're about here in Australia. You're about 13 or so when you go to high school. I don't know what the equivalent is in America. Over here we call them high school. I think over there you call them shooting ranges, I believe. No, pardon the joke. Pardon the joke. Pardon any offence. Now I think you call it. I don't know what you call it. High school, middle school, or I don't really. I don't know. But about you're there till you're about 13 to 16, and then you go to normally most schools have a separate year 11 and 12. You like 17, 18-year-old final years of school. But I discovered in year 7 that I really liked girls. Sounds a bit funny calling them girls, but back then I was a boy, young man. So when I say girls, it's not I don't mean anything creepy by it by any means, but and of course puberty for men and puberty for women, they started to develop chesticles, and as we were developing too, hormones going through. I realised, yeah, I like girls, and I thought, well, I've got to do something about it. They're not coming up to me. If I want to meet one, and wasn't really thinking about bedroom fun back then. I just wanted to, have the old wholesome, girlfriend. Yeah, have lunches together, maybe do a bit of homework together, hold hands, maybe the odd kiss, whatnot like that. All pretty harmless, but it was about the time, or pretty much exactly the time, where I started to venture out into the dating world at that age that I realised, well, now I realise exactly what it is, but it was then when I discovered that I was average, just the average man, average looking man. And look, my definition of average is, I know some other manosphere content creators have the same one, but mine is around about the 4 to 5 range. So that's average. I'm not going to say, oh, exactly five's average and four's low tier normie. I mean, if you face it, these days, 60 to 70% of blokes, men, are overweight. So the average man carries a little bit of a guts, or the average man's balding slightly, or whatever it is. I pretty much say it's just average. So how I kind of rate myself is, when I had hair, I was a 5, and now that I'm a bit balding, a bit extra weight, about a 4. I was always kind of floated between the 4 and 5 range. I'm not that short. I'm not super duper tall, but I'm pretty much, yeah, the average guy, give or take a couple of features here and there. So what did I do? I seen a few women that I liked, and of course I was so scared, didn't know what to say, what to do. So what did I do? Of course, I went back and asked the parents, what do you do? And, dad was just saying, oh, you just ask them out, or, tell them you like her and all this. I'm like, oh, surely you can't just do that. I even heard through the grapevine at school, you don't do that. And then so I ended up talking to a friend of the family, who was like a long haired, like Chad, like kind of 90s grunge. He was in a band, rocker type, Chad looking bloke. They said, oh, you just start out by just going up and saying hi to them. What are you doing? What classes are you doing? And all that stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, stupid me thinking, if it works for him, well, it's got to work for me, doesn't it? That's how it works. But I was about to get a BP shoved right down my throat. So I picked 2 or 3 girls that I liked, and at every opportunity I could, I just go up and say, hi, how you going? What are you doing? And of course, she was with her group of friends, and I just immediately got belittled, teased, and not so much told to shut up, but told, so what are you doing? What are you doing talking to us? Who are you? And all this stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I was just trying to be friendly." Funnily enough, whenever the ladies I liked, or the girls, were on their own, I'd just get treated just like a normal human being. I never got really treated with disgust, but whenever they were in groups, I guess they had to put on the facade that they were just heaps better than me, or probably actually my looks match, but still, even but back then in school, if you weren't nothing but a good looking, jock or Chad guy, you still got, you know, basically got fuck all. Um, yeah, so You have to pardon me too if I go quiet for a little bit. I am at the office while making this video. It's not too busy at the moment. I still have to do some stuff, but I just thought, fuck it, may as well record. So, and in general at school, I just pretty much had the average guy experience. I never had any girlfriends. After that, after I got kind of rejected, humiliated, I kind of just backed off talking to the ladies for quite a while. Just concentrated on friends, video games, riding bikes, all that kind of all the good stuff. And as I said, whenever it like pair up with say it just an average, just a random girl for a project or something, I'd always get treated with fair. Like I didn't get treated with disgust like a sub five would have in my position, like a true sub five, true cell would have. But I always got treated, fairly good. They'd have a convo with me, but I was never anything more than that. Once again, no choosing signals, but I wasn't invisible either. But yeah, wasn't invisible, but no choosing signals. And like the odd really, really popular, like girl, like group of girls, when I'd walk past them, they might say something like a bit smart assy or cheeky, like light teasing, not so much teasing like a sub five true cell. I'd get maybe mocked a little bit or just a little bit of light teasing. That pretty much the same as I got off like the real popular guys and kids a bit older than me and stuff too. But it's as to be expected as an average guy. An average guy in school, like I'm not really going to talk about how you perform at school with certain topics and subjects and that. Just how you get treated socially. You're going to have some friends. You're not going to have heaps of friends. I had friends that I'd hang out with at school, and then some that I'd only hang out with after school. And yeah, like one of my best mates, I'd hang out after school. We'd never hang out at school. We'd say hi if we'd seen each other, but we just didn't have anything in common in school. We didn't hang out. But afterwards, yeah, we'd ride bikes, play games until the cows come home. And yeah, with like from about the ages of like say 12 to 16, the average guy is going to get maybe a little bit of interest. He might get, I did get a little bit of interest off the like real heavy, like the what would be considered the ugliest women in school. I got interest off. Now, a sub five true cell isn't even going to get that interest off the fatties and the ugly ones. So that's what I got. Of course, I didn't find them attractive and didn't do anything once. And like as I said, I've never ever claimed to be an inkwell. I'm not far off an inkwell, but I am not a true cell. I'll never take that for the people that are that. I completely respect them. I'm not going to use that title to get clicks and views or anything like that. I'll respect it, and and yeah, that's pretty much that. And then there was like the okay, so the teenage years are kind of gone, say 18 to maybe 20, 21. Before I really started going out to the clubs and stuff, I'd play sports, be in social groups, things like that. Still be around women, but once again, it's pretty much like high school. I'd go up to groups and I'd be accepted in the groups well enough. I could talk, get a conversation going, even like go for little walks to other friends' house with girls, but none of them ever wanted to date me. I'd eventually get the courage to ask a few of them out, sorry, and then I'd just get very politely rejected. And I can tell you what, it's a really frustrating time in a young man's life if he can't get a little bit of action, even if it's just like first, second base from a girl when he's like mid to late teens. That's kind of all you can think about with all the hormones and testosterone and things and societal pressure going through your head. It's kind of a really important part, and it's kind of hard to think about anything else. Like, I'm going to go into why it's a little bit easier for Chads because they've already had a bit of an experience. They might have lost their V card or whatever at about 16, 15, whatever. Chads actually, got to be careful what I say here, but a lot of Chads actually lose their V card at even a significantly younger age than 15. So I don't know how much bullshit's involved with that, but it would not surprise me. But that's really all I could really think about. I really should have been concentrating on other things, but yeah, just never. Well, I grew up in a bit of a smaller town too, so that might have hindered me a little bit. But yeah, I just, long story short, from about 17, 18 to 21, I might have had maybe 2 dates that never led anywhere. Maybe got a couple of numbers with basically minimal interest. They were just bored and wanted something to do. I've yet to have still, held a girl's hand and kissed them, and it wasn't until like my early to mid 20s where that actually happened. So from about 12 to about 19, 20, I'd struggled with the ladies. And it was about that age too where we got the first household computer. So of course I'd done what every other kind of guy that's hopeless in my situation done, and turned to the internet for help and advice. And what did I find? Unfortunately for me, there was no BP content out back then. It was all PUA. So that's when I was introduced to PUA. And I thought it was basically a godsend at the time. That was best thing since sliced bread. The answer to all my problems that tell me like your height doesn't matter, your looks don't matter. I started losing my hair and going bald pretty quickly and rapidly at 19. I got told that didn't matter either. That as a content creator called Master Yoda says, I was taught, they were trying to teach me that all I had to do is press the right emotional buttons in the right order, of course, and I could basically get a girlfriend anytime I wanted. I could get as many one night stands as I wanted and as many girlfriends as I wanted. They'd even have the gall to tell you that, once you master the PUA stuff, you can actually have multiple girlfriends, and they'd all be they'd all be happy with each other because you're such a high value man, etc. We all know now that that's a complete load of absolute shite. But I thought that was going to be the saving grace. So of course, I jumped in head first, learned everything I can, bought the book. I read up something that said, "Oh, there's a book called The Game Out. It costs about $30." So I went to a bookstore. They didn't have it. They ordered it in. So I got that, and then met a mate at the time. This is, you might have heard me talk about him, the like Chad Light mate. I did have a couple of. I don't want to say Chad. I want to say Chad Light. Maybe 6 or 7, in the 6 or 7 range. I've only ever seen people 7 to 8 range. So, but this guy, yeah, 6 or 7. He's always, he had his first girlfriend at about 13, 14. He's never been truly single. Type of guy that'll have multiple women chasing him at the same time. So we thought, he just wanted more women. I just wanted a woman. So we thought, oh yeah, we can go out together, and it's easier if you've got a mate there, that kind of thing. So from about 20, from about, sorry, 19 to 20 till about 25, I was going out 2 or 3 nights a week. I'd have some breaks off in between and that, doing this PUA bullshit. And during that time, I did have the odd success. I might get maybe once. I used to get roughly about one success a year. which is one lady that might have might have slept with me and maybe had a bit of short-term fun. I never really had anything long-term out of it, but yeah, and it was never anything to do with PUA. It was always that I just approached a woman and I just got lucky and she liked the look of me. I didn't even like that was before I even knew about choosing signals or anything like that, and to wait till you get choosing signals before you go over. I just approach random girls and I just got fucking lucky. I got lucky that being like a 4 out of 10, 4 to 5 out of 10 guy, depending on the girl's type. I just happened to tick enough boxes to facilitate a some kind of a dynamic, short term dynamic out of it. And so yeah, I'm not a true soul. If I do put myself out there, like expose myself, that sounds like a horrible word. If I do expose myself to maybe, I'd say maybe somewhere around about 1 in 1,000 women might like me. I'll get into these days. It's a lot different these days, but back then I was quite fit up. Yeah, I was bald, just average looking face, a little bit of a guts on me, but not much. Just a little bit of tubby fat. And I don't have a guts or a donut or anything back then. I was quite muscular, but yes, I was at about 22, 23. I was as totally bald as you can get. Norwood 7, brutal, eh? Sucks. But there were the cards I was dealt, and of course, listen to all the PUA stuff saying that doesn't matter, hair doesn't matter. Bullshit. Hair matters a lot. To about 90 to 95% of women will reject you on the spot before you've even opened your mouth if you're bald. Sorry, gentlemen, but that's the way it is. It's not over, but it's hard. As soon as you lose like more than normal 3 significant amount of your hair, it gets put on maybe medium to hard mode. Once again, don't shoot the messenger. It's just the way it is. But anyway, yeah. So that's about 19, 20 to 25, 26 covered. I got maybe one success a year from a girl that just liked the look of me. But no, not once did PUA or game or holding frame or push pull, active disinterest, any of that shit they come up with. Not once did that ever create attraction. And it was around about that age. What would have been about 25, 26, 2007 or 8 or something, where I got what's now known as rejection fatigue. So just got sick of going out, sick of getting rejected, sick of the same old stuff, sick of just maybe being able to go and make conversation with a lady for a little while and then it never going anywhere. Like I used to be able to get numbers. Like I could get 1 or 2 numbers a week if I approached, 20 ladies. But the numbers would be just to get rid of me or just to give them a bit of attention and validation. If I'm lucky, they might have texted me, but they didn't lead anywhere. The only time they led anywhere is when there was genuine attraction. So I'm living proof that PUA is a complete load of shit. You can't talk your way into a woman's pants. Well, actually, you can. There's only one instance where you can do that, and that's when you're negotiating her price for the hour, if you know what I mean. Okay, so after all that shit, bit of rejection fatigue, couldn't be bothered anymore with it, had a gutful. So I kind of just concentrated on, I just started playing in a band. I was concentrating on music, furthering study. I went to studied a 2-year music degree in Melbourne, which is the capital city of the state I live in, which is probably at 90 minutes from where I was living. I lived a little bit southeast, just quite a bit out of town. So just really concentrating on that. Like I'd still unfortunately, you know, then I'd still maybe pull a little bit of game out, actually thinking it still worked every now and again whenever I'd see a lady that took my fancy, but it just never worked for about yeah, for about the next 3 or 4 years after 2008, I basically got nothing in person. I'd still get about that one one or so a year. On a good year, maybe two or three lays a year. But that was strictly only on online dating. And yes, online dating used to work for average looking men. It never worked for sub fives, like for still I'm a four, I'm a sub five. It never worked for the 3 to 4 true cell range, but the 4 to 5 cell, but 4 to 5 average, 4 to 5 cells actually pretty good. I'll use that. The 4 to 5 range, it did work, but few and far between. And this was with looks matched ladies. I wasn't dumpster diving for the 140 kilo women or anything like that. I'd kind of wait till there was someone roughly my looks. And that happened about 2 to 3 times a year. And this was on mainly a site that used to be called Oasis Active. I don't know if it's still around, but it used to be good because you could actually, well, first you'd have to like each other. You could have a profile. People read profiles, and then you could actually message and talk. And if you paid premium, which I did a few times, you could actually message them first. And there was a few other. OK Cupid used to be good. Used to be able to message first. It had quite a few good conversations on there. Like I didn't really live on them or anything like that. I have heard of guys that were living on them sites and could get 2 or 3 dates a week. But they were like if you there's a channel called G-Man TV or something, and another Aussie guy. He's more kind of like roasting the women, like TikTok reaction. He does talk a tiny little bit about BPRP stuff, but he said he used to do what he called monster hunting back in the day, which was any port in a storm. If you don't know what that means, any hole's a goal. Whether she was an 8, I think he said he's never got an 8. Whether it was a 5, 6, or a 1 or a 2, it didn't matter. He'd meet up with them. He'd just complete beast mode. But yeah, used to as for an average guy used to could actually do okay on the dating sites pre 2012. So that's between, just to reiterate, between like 2006 or 7 and 8, somewhere around there, to about 2012. Had rejection fatigue from going out in person, so I just stuck to one line. And then, my good friends, an app called Tinder came out in about 2012. And that app was basically the watershed moment of fucking everything up for average guys and dating. Because after that app came out, about probably 6 months after it came out, I tried it for a bit and had no success. I could get matches and talk to ladies and stuff, but no dates, no nothing. After that app came out, that was basically the end of it was basically the end of me and the end of average men in general. Yes, you can still get lucky if you're in the 4 to 5 range. Yes, you can, but you can't live your life with them kind of odds, with them like 1 in 2,000 odds. Like, go about your business. If you're getting choosing signals, go and talk to someone. But if you're not getting the choosing signals, don't don't talk to them. So yeah, about 2012, I kind of realised that online dating was going downhill very fast for me. I didn't know it was affecting all average men then, but until manosphere stuff and BP stuff came out. So, so I just kind of kept trying for about a year or two. Nothing was happening. Then I thought, oh, maybe it's got to be back to person, and if I approached in person, things might be different. So I never went out as full on as I used to with the 2 or 3 nights a week back in the early 2000s. But I'd go out maybe once a week, and I'd also try a little bit. I was very risky what I was doing too. I used to have like a casual to part-time job doing bouncing security work at pubs and clubs, so I'd kind of do a little bit of that stuff there. And look, once again, it was hit and miss, so I do a little bit of that. And once again, my strike rate, my success rate was basically 1, 2 if I'm lucky, 2 lays a year. With ladies, my looks match. Yes, I could have gotten more if I went for big, fat, ugly 1s and 2s out of 10s. Not my cup of tea. I just can't do it. I wouldn't be able to perform, if you know what I mean. But so yeah, just I basically got that same success rate, and it was about 2014 too when I ran into this channel just came up on the feed called Face and LMS, which, as far as I know, is the original like BP content creator channel, where he actually goes into the genetic factor and the evolutionary factor of face, where face like looks, primarily face looks, is everything. Game doesn't work, PUA doesn't work, alpha guru shit, holding the frame, going to the gym, being an alpha dominant man doesn't work. It's all got to do with your face. And at that point, he had like, I think 6 really good, he had more videos, but 6 in kind of like that series, like hour-long videos. And I watched one, and all the puzzle pieces just fell into place. And then I was just hooked on that channel. I binged watched every one of them that day, and then came back, I think, the next day just to watch them again and watch some other content. And he had a lot of videos on his channel where he'd do collaboration. So I'd watch them in that as well. He'd debate people that were RP and even B, like blue coloured tablets as well. So that kind of got me into like the whole like manosphere, especially the BP stuff. And there was a few other creators around, but he was the main one. And that's when I kind of realised, oh shit, it's. I kind of went back, looked through like the history of my life through the BP lens, and kind of realised that everything made sense. And I'm not the only guy to do that. And from there was like other channels that came up. There was Inkwell TV, now known as Rehab Room. You got your Stardusks, your Thinking Apes. I know I'm forgetting a hell of a lot of them. Your Thinking Apes, your Sandmans, your Barbarossas, things like that. And maybe a couple of other smaller channels, but they seem to kind of disappear. Like kind of my channel, they get no traction. The algorithm is just it's not pushing my channel at all. I get people saying I've got good content, they love listening. So it's not the content that's really the problem. It's the fact that this kind of stuff doesn't get pushed. And my last channel that's linked with the phone number that's linked with this channel got deleted. So, but I'm still going to make videos. I like it. I might, yeah, maybe in 6 months, a year or so, whenever I decide to get a new phone, get a new number with it, and make up a new account. But I'm on a bit of a tangent here. So what was I on about? Yeah, the BP stuff. So it was around about the 2013, 2014 mark that I realised that all that matters looks, and then I realised I looked into looks maxing and this and that, and then I came across a few channels where guys had actually been, about my level 4 and 5, and it actually looks max to 6 or 7, and the results that we're getting were night and day. And also you got to understand too that us as like average guy, as guys in general, at around this time, like womanism, I'm sure you can understand what I'm alluding to when I say womanism was, and we had a song come out called Blurred Lines, which all the womanists got really, really upset about. And it was around about this time where a lot of these PUAs were starting to get arrested and things like that, which was a good thing. But it was bad for men in general because it was about that time where we actually kind of felt hated by the opposite sex and a bit scared to approach, and just in case like Me Too would happen or this and that would happen, would be seen as creeps and all this stuff, which is it's true to this day too. If you're not getting choosing signals, just don't approach, because you can't make someone fall in love with you. You can't push the right emotional buttons and get someone to become attracted to you. It doesn't work that way, and especially don't try anything at work. I'd say at work. I would not, even if you think you're getting choosing signals, just be very very careful. The days of meeting your future girlfriend and wife at work pretty much over. It's huge risk, huge risk for just a small chance it's going to pay off. So I wouldn't do it. So okay, it's about 2014. My eyes been open. Shakar, his eyes open. Dharmakan Jalad Tanagra. The walls fell. His eyes opened. If you're a Trekkie, you're a Star Trek Next Generation fan, you'll know what that means. If not, you'll just think I've talked absolute shite. And it is what it is. What can I say? So yeah, got BP'd, eyes are open, and like a huge weight was lifted off my chest, off my shoulders, realising that my failures in the past with ladies weren't my fault. Like, assuming you don't go up to them and say anything overtly sexual or be a bit of a creep or a weirdo, your failures, success or lack thereof with the ladies are just simply not your fault. That's not your fault. Even your successes, if you've had any, aren't your fault. The lady just liked the look of you, and the rest was history. Even if you were sprouting them cheesy pickup lines, I used to do that too when they get successes, and women just might think you're a little bit odd, or even think they're funny sometimes because they like you. So don't mix the two up. You might actually be running quote unquote game on a lady, and you might even pick her up that night. But rest assured, she just liked the look of you. It wasn't because of what you've said or how you acted. Trust me, it wasn't. Wasn't. So yeah, so that's about it. We've got like 20. Yeah, we're about the 2016 mark now. Fully BP'd, like knowing what women are actually genuinely attracted to. So for the next like 2 odd years, I didn't really. I might have tried to talk to the odd lady, but even back then, I didn't really know too much about choosing signals and things like that. I kind of like you always knew when like a lady was somewhat attracted to me, because they give you a bit of a smile and look up and down, and that stuff was pretty few and far between. But say for about 2 years, from 2016 to like 2017, 18, pretty much had no success. I met one lady at that time, considerably younger than me. I was going through a bit of a bad time because it was around about the time my mum passed, and it was a pretty like emotionally dependent relationship. She was a bit younger, daddy issues, liked older guys, and uh, long story short, we kind of met her, we hooked up, and she was like giving me incredible, like Chad-like choosing signals from the first time I met her, like the first coffee date. But that was fairly turbulent. We were probably together for about 6 weeks. First break up, together for another 6 weeks. Break up again, together for about another 3 months, and then I'm thinking, nah, bugger, this just doesn't work. And it was around about that 2018 time that And this is not just true for me; it's true for a lot of other manosphere creators and that I've heard stories of that are like me in that average 4 to 5 out of 10 range. It was about 2017, 2018 where it just all went to shit, where the average guy was fucked. The average guy was wrecked when it came to dating, online dating especially. I remember I could swipe for weeks and weeks and weeks, probably thousands of swipes, not even one match, when I used to get maybe a couple of matches a week. They still probably wouldn't lead anywhere, but I'd still get them. So I went from that to getting absolutely nothing in person, absolute nothing, scared to death of talking to Warman because, in case I got me too'd, or what unfortunately did happen to me, I got a restraining order against me for the crime of speaking to a lady as a sub 5, subhuman ugly guy. And that's how ladies see you. It's ladies view attraction as binary. You are either attractive or you're not. Now, average guys, I'd say in general, 98, 95% of them, whatever, aren't ugly guys. They aren't ugly. They're not hot, which is what matters, but they're not ugly. No, they're just average guys. They're just not ugly, but they're not hot. And we all know that, that women these days have excruciatingly high standards, and when they meet a man that meets 80% of their needs, they say, "Where's the other 20%?" Whereas if a man meets a woman that meets 60 or 70% of his needs, he thinks, "Oh wow, I've won the lottery here. I'll marry this broad." So yeah, like I was saying earlier on, about 2012 was that watershed moment when average guys became ugly, where average guys became sub 5s. There was, yeah, like it's really, really rare for an average looking guy to have a successful relationship, marriage. Yes, I know anomalies do occur. And it's like that Baden-Meinhof effect, which I made a video about but ended up taken down because it got like 6 views. I should have kept it up, but people just want to hear this kind of stuff and roasting and stuff. If you're constantly thinking about, this is what the Baden-Meinhof effect is. If you constantly think about something, when you go out into the world, it's all you see. So when you think about, oh yeah, look, but there's all these ugly guys or average guys getting ladies. When you go out to a big shopping mall, there might only be, out of 5,000, 10,000 people, there might be 3 couples where the guys maybe a 3 or a 4 out of 10 with a 4 out of 10, 3, 4, 5 out of 10 girl. And that'll stand out for you and you'll think that's normal, but it's only because it's been playing on your mind, you see. That's how that little psychological effect works. Yeah, so since about 2018, it's been completely over, except for the odd time that this ex of mine is between relationships and she's feeling a bit lonely and a little bit horny. And I get called up to see what I'm doing and a little bit of bedroom fun ensues. Now, that hasn't happened for a little while, a couple of years now. I'd say probably since about 2020, 2021 at the latest. And I didn't even really want to do it. It wasn't that exciting for me. I was just, oh yeah, there's nothing else around. It beats the old right hand, doesn't it? And so pretty much nothing from 2021 to modern day 2025 now as recording of this. So we've got 2025. I go out and about in public looking for choosing signals, just looking women in the eye, just giving them, maybe saying hello every now and again, which I'd recommend that's all you do as a guy. You don't go up and try to run game or use pickup lines. They don't work. And if you're not getting choosing signals, you're not getting choosing signals, the best case is you will get politely rejected, but the worst case is you'll end up arrested for harassment. So please don't do it. And I think that pretty much wraps up my experience growing up to the age of 43, which I am now. Growing up as an average guy, having average interactions with women, you know. And as always, feel free to comment in the section if you relate to this or things are a bit different, or you know, just I, I want to hear your experience. Like if you're a true cell, a true inkwell, write your experience down. I'm curious to know if you're, whatever level you are on the scale, you're sub 5, to average, to high tier normie, to Chad. I don't know why Chad would be listening to this, but yeah, just feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section. I did have a couple of little things written down. I pretty much said everything I wanted. So basically, yeah, this is like one of three videos. Life. I probably should have started with sub 5 and worked up. Who gives a shit? Life of an average guy with women, and that average guy is me because I'm an average guy. So I know other average guys are going to have different experiences, but I thought, no, bugger, I'll just make it about me. Pardon me. So yeah, just a couple of reiterating facts. As I'll say, as a 4 out of 10 guy, you're going to get bits and pieces of attraction and attention from the woman, but it's going to take a lot of exposure to get that. You are going to get a few numbers here and there, but you're going to get ghosted a lot. You're just going to get used up for attention and validation. Like I said, around about the 2018 mark was kind of like the nail in the coffin for average guys getting reasonable success. Now, if you're an average bloke, in the 4 to 5 range, you may as well be in the sub 6 range, because the modern woman will just consider you ugly. As simple as that. You're either good, you're either attractive, or you're not. There's no, oh, he's not too bad looking. He's mid. He'll do. Maybe he's got a good personality. He's okay looking. Maybe I'll give him a go. No, there's none of that. You're either in or you're out. It's black and white. It's black and white. I don't know what I have written down here. Another, not really a story, but a little anecdote thing that I wanted to say. Like growing up around about the 14, 15 to 18-year-old mark, it's really hard as an average or a like sub 5, sub 3 guy when you're around mates and all your mates have got girlfriends, and there's maybe an event. There might be a concert coming up, or the local band's playing in the park, or I know one I think I was about 15 or 16. One New Year's Eve really stood out, where I was hanging out with three mates. They all had girlfriends. So it was actually three. And there was four, including me. There was 4 men and 4 women. There was a single girl there that I thought I'd maybe, try my luck with. So anyway, throughout the night, my friends were pretty much in the around about the 5 to 6. Not average, but not Chads. Just high tier, only 5 to 6 range. They all had their looks matched girlfriends, and throughout the night they were, going off to little corners and making out. And I remember maybe 1 minute to the midnight New Year's bells, they said, "Oh, let's see the New Year in style." So they were feeling each other up, kissing and all that stuff. And I just felt like a complete fucking loser. I felt so down and depressed. But all through the night, I was trying to make small talk with this other girl. It's about my age. I was 15. She was about 15. She wanted nothing to do with me, no choosing signals whatsoever. So I kind of knew nothing was going to happen there. And as like we stayed there, watched them. Me and her both. She had it just as a miserable look on my face as I did. I mean, I was thinking, no, what's going on? Like, I'm a guy, no, surely, something's better than nothing. But no, it's not. They want what they're attracted to, or nothing. So yeah, I thought I'd make a little bit of a small talk, and I'd see at about 1 to midnight, she had this really, her face was tripping her. She had this real miserable, defeated, depressed look on her face, and I just ended up saying, "Oh, well, look, we're having just a little bit of small talk, just basically almost one word conversation out of her throughout the night." I just said, "Look, I hope you have a good rest of the night, and I'm going to go home now." I said, "To be honest, I can't." I think I said something like, "To be honest, I can't take this anymore. Everyone's got a partner, and I don't." She was like, "Oh," she was like, "I feel the same way." And then she started kind of like crying, and I was thinking, "Oh, is this a time where we go and give her a cuddle and maybe be that shoulder to lean on?" And I just thought, "No, I'll just go." And said, "Look, I think I did offer to walk her home." She said, "No, she didn't live too far away." And I just kind of left her crying, and I think as I was leaving, one of her friends stopped making out with my mate and came and consoled her. I believe too, like my memory's pretty bad. It's a fucking long time ago. I think she thought that I'd done something to offend her. She was like, "Oh, did he hurt you? Did he say something?" She was like, "No, no, no. So he's all right." And then I just basically I lived pretty close, so I just kind of out the gate and went home. I don't think I teared up. There have been occasions where I've been like that and I've kind of got a bit emotional, but I just kind of went home and played video games just and then just went to bed. I think had a couple of drinks on my own. I think, a couple of little bourbon and cokes under the watchful eye of mum, and then just just went to bed. And then I know it took a while to get over. I think like over the like that's our summer, like in over Christmas and New Year's. No, if you're American or English or whatever, it's your winter, but it's our summer over here in Australia. So over the summer break, we started school again. Yeah, February 14th, I don't know, some bullshit. I don't know, but I think the second week into February always starts some shit like that. So I started school, pretty much forgot about that, but I've just always remembered times like that where you'd be at a concert or something and like couples would all be cuddling and kissing and listening to music, and I'd always be the one without the girlfriend. Like, I'm not looking for the world's smallest violin. I know I'm not alone. I know a lot of guys, the majority of guys probably went through that if you're average or subhuman. And that can kind of really hurt your confidence as a guy too. Because I will get into like Chad's experience like that, but I'll touch a little bit on it now. You know, like Chad's going to go into life having a lot more confidence because he's had them experiences that a lot of us guys don't get until we're in our 20s, sometimes even 30s. Sometimes we'll never get them unless you pay for them. Chad's had these experiences quite young, so of course, that's going to build up his confidence around women. So, and you don't get that almost PTSD like trauma from having constant rejection, like knowing that you're alienated, knowing you're the odd one out in your group when everyone else is partnered up and you're not. So yeah, I just looked at that little story. That's the only one I didn't cover. So I think, well, no, I turned the page over now. This is some of my notes for my Chad video. Still have to make notes and some bullet talking points for the sub 5 video, but this will conclude the the life of an average guy in regards to attracting women. Me being the average guy. So I'll pretty much leave this one here. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. Like, subscribe, comment, try to answer all the comments if I can. Once again, if I do miss them, sometimes I don't even get told that I've got them. As I said, a few times I went to just look up, someone will write a comment on like a 6-month-old video, and I've realised there's like 7 or 8 comments I haven't even replied to there, and I didn't even get notified of them. I don't know if it's a glitch or maybe YouTube just doesn't like this kind of stuff. Don't know, but don't take it personally if I don't say nothing. And always just say, "Hey, buddy, what do you make of this? What do just get me attention again if you want. I'm not ignoring you." So I'll leave this one here, and hope you're all doing well. Do something nice for yourself this week. Look after yourself. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.